Man, when I heard that the Division 2 was coming out, I was kind of like, how is this gonna play out? Because the very first game, I bought it day one, and if you guys play the Division day one for the first couple months, you know that the game was riddled with issues. Constant disconnects, poor frame rate, poor optimization, tons and tons of terrible glitches for every single thing you pretty much played at all times. Tons of broken mechanics and tons of just broken things in the game. And a lot of players deserted the first Division game about 2 to 3 months after it came out. And I was one of those players. Now, I did hear that a long time after the game was deserted, it actually got changed, and it got changed and improved for the better. But it wasn't until after months upon months later that this actually happened. And by that time, most of the player base was extinct. The game was a ghost town. So when I heard that the Division 2 was coming out, a couple of my friends said that, hey, how about giving it another chance? And I said, I don't know about that, but they talked me into it. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys my first impressions and review of the Division 2 Tom Clancy's new game. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please take a moment and go ahead and hit that thumbs up like button right now. And if you're new here and you like the content and the entertainment, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as turning on the little notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future content. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. The gameplay you're going to be watching is me playing some of Tom Clancy's The Division 2 from the private beta that is going on right now, and I am playing on the Xbox One X console. Now, we're playing and I'm chopping it up, just showing you guys different little missions and different things we did, so just sit back, watch, and enjoy. The gameplays are not important, but I do want to show you guys some of the game. So, like I said in the beginning of this video, I decided to go ahead and try out the game again. I was conned into it. Now, first of all, John, if you're watching this video, I know you like this game, and I'm sorry. John is my friend Lazarus I'm playing with inside of this game. He actually was a big Division fan, and he's pretty much impressed so far by the Division 2. But me personally, I am not. And I'm going to go into the goods and the bads. Now, the goods, I'm just going to say, there's not many. The only thing I think is cool about the game is the setting. I like how they set it in the White House, how you have to get the Declaration of Independence and stuff like that, because I'm into history and things like that. But other than that, I thought that was like the only good thing and cool thing about the game. Now, I know some of you guys are going to be like, well, it's just a beta. You know, it's only a beta. Look, I made videos about this years ago. Betas on consoles are not betas. They are demos. You're pretty much going to get 95% of what you see in the beta on the game, because most betas only come out about a month before the actual game comes out, and they don't have enough time to go ahead and change enough stuff on the game that people will complain about or things that are broken in the game. True betas are actually beta tested by panels of people and put into beta for multiple months, if not years, to thoroughly test all the gameplay mechanics and content of the game before releasing it out in a final stage. So, if you're one of those people that is going to say, oh, it's just a beta, it's not just a beta. It's a demo. And this is pretty much what we're going to be getting in the full game when we get it. Because as a matter of fact, this game comes out in about a month. And you're pretty much going to be playing exactly what we see here. The first thing I want to talk about, man, which I don't like at all, is how many different versions of the game there are. It is a slap to the face. There are 6 different versions of this game. There is the standard version of the game, which is $60 like any other game. There is a gold version of the game, which is like $110. Then there's a dark zone version of the game, which I think is like $130. Then there's a Phoenix copy of the game that comes with a statue, and there's another copy of the game that comes with another statue. There's 6 different versions of this game. It is just too much. And on top of that, going into versions, I think it's the biggest, dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life with different versions of games. If you buy the $60 version of this game, you do not get any of the year 1 DLC and support for the game. On top of that, you will only get to play the game when it comes out, which kind of makes no sense, but listen up to what I'm about to say. If you buy the gold version of the game, which is the one that I pre-ordered, it is $109.99. Basically $110 plus tax, making the game come up to about $120 depending on where you live. $120 game. Now, why would you say, why can't you play at the same time? Well, because with the $120 game, you actually get to play the game 3 days earlier than everybody else who buys the $60 version of the game. That is ridiculous. You're basically telling the gamers and basically telling the players that, hey, you can buy the $60 version of the game, but there's going to be everybody else who spent $50 more on the game that has a 3-day advantage on you playing the game before you even get to play it. I don't know about you guys, but in the realm of gamers nowadays, most gamers know life games when they first come out, or we all do it. And 3 days can make a monumental difference between one player and another player. Hell, I bet in the first 3 days of the game, there's already going to be people that are probably going to be max level with all legendary gear. So now if you only buy the $60 version of the game, on day one, you're already way behind everybody else that spent $110 on the game. And on top of that, if you don't buy the $110 version of the game and you only buy the $60 version of the game, you don't get the year one pass, which means you're going to be missing out on tons of content from year one. So they are mostly and basically forcing the gamers to buy the $110 version of the game. Because I'm sure that anybody who wants to play this game is going to want to play it as soon as possible, thus them conning you into getting it 3 days earlier. And anybody who plays this game and is going to want to enjoy this game is going to want to enjoy all the year one content. So yeah, pretty bad right off the bat. This game to me feels like the same exact code from the Division 1 with just a brand new colorful map. It literally feels and looks just like the Division 1 to me, with just different coding in it and a different, more colorful map. That's really what it is. So if you're one of those people that loves the Division 1 and you adored the game so much, you might like this game. But if you're one of those people that did not like the Division 1 and you got fed up of it, you're probably not gonna like this game. The graphics in this game are absolutely garbage. Terrible. Constant disconnects and constant frame rate drops. Everything looks absolutely garbage. I mean, I've seen people that were actually talking that said they were running the game on PC with a GTX 1080 Ti with an i9 processor, 32 gigs of RAM, and they were barely pulling in 30 to 35 frames per second. And that's on an i9 processor with a GTX 1080 Ti. And they're barely pulling in 35 frames a second? The game is extremely poorly optimized, not only on consoles, but also on PC. The game I'm playing is on the Xbox One X, which is the most powerful gaming console on the market right now, and the frame rate looked absolutely terrible. The graphics looked absolutely terrible. And I spoke about disconnects a second ago. My God, I had so many disconnects in this game, and I'm going to show you tons of them, or a couple of them at least inside of this gameplay if you've already seen some white screens. I had tons and tons of disconnects in the game. I would just be randomly running, and then I would just get a black screen. And then after about 10 seconds, it would dashboard me to the Xbox screen, and then I'd have to reload the entire game. Other times, it would just say, you have been disconnected from the EA servers in the middle of the game. And then if you were doing something, a mission or some sort, you had to start back all the way over from the beginning again. And all of the progress that you made wasn't saved at all, so you had to do it all over again. That actually happened to us twice inside of this game. It is ludicrous. The movement in this game to me is just clunky. I don't like the movement. Everything just feels off to me. Everything just feels clunky. Like when you're going to try to jump over something, sometimes you don't jump over it, sometimes you do. Other times when you're going to crouch behind cover, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Just the way the character moves just feels off. It just feels like everything's like a half a second behind. I don't like it at all. The audio in this game is absolutely terrible. There were so many times where we were fighting bosses and bullet sponge enemies when there was too much going on in the game, too much sound, too much audio, and the game couldn't handle it. So all of a sudden, everything just went quiet and you had no sound in the game at all, no audio in the game. And then when it came back, everything just sounded like a Decepticon from Transformers. It was like, it was just the weirdest noises I've ever heard in my entire life in a video game. Also, there was plenty of times where I was shooting my gun and my controller was not vibrating and I wasn't getting the sound or the audio effect of the bullets coming out of the gun at all. Hell, I didn't even know if there was bullets coming out of my gun because I couldn't feel it or hear it. But then when I reloaded my gun, then I got the sound again. It would happen like every other magazine. Speaking of reloading my gun, there was plenty of times while I played this game where I would shoot an entire magazine into an enemy and it would then force reload the gun, but then it would reload the gun with only 2 bullets. Now, I was using a gun that had 26 bullets in the magazine, an AUG, and then after I shot it and all the bullets came out, it would reload it, but it would only reload it with 2 bullets. And then I shot and only 2 bullets came out, and then I had to reload the gun again. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. In the first division, we had some bullet sponge enemies. A lot of people complain about that. This is basically just the named enemies were just bullet sponge enemies that had really no mechanics, didn't do anything. They just stood there and absolutely did nothing. And then you just had to unload tons and tons and tons of ammo into them and use tons of your skills. And they would just take forever to die. In this game, although the bullet sponginess of the enemies has gotten a little bit better, it's still there. Basically, anytime you fight, named enemies, named legendary enemies in this game, they still are bullet sponges to some extent because they really don't do much. Some of the guys that sit there with the flamethrowers and the canisters, they pretty much just stand there like a statue, and they move so slow, they basically don't do anything. All you have to do is just sit there and have 3 or 4 people keep unloading on them for 15, 20 seconds, and then bam, they will finally die. Constant crashes in this game, man, constant. The perk system in this game is really bad in my opinion. If you look at the perks that are actually in the game, most of them are bad. They're just useless. So many different perks in this game, but yet all of them to me are just not good. Different magazines, different gun attachments, you can carry more food, you can carry more water. It's just not things that I'm looking forward to in the game as far as the perk system goes. And there's not that many offensive or defensive perks in the game. Now, I don't know if these are all the perks we're going to get, in the full game release, but as far as it goes right now, the perks that are in the game are really, really bad. And speaking about the things that we have in the game, as far as I can see, there's only a total of 8 skills in the game. 8. Only 8. And 5 of them are unavailable in the beta. Unavailable! More than 50% of the skills are unavailable in the beta, meaning you could only choose the 3 of them that we have available. And some of them are absolutely garbage, like the drones. The drones are terrible. You put up the one that's supposed to heal your armor, it barely does anything. Then you put up the other one that calls in the little bombs. It's so clunky and so hard to target, most of the time you can't even control it correctly. I don't like the drones at all. Now, if you make it to the Dark Zone, which a lot of people have, that is when it even gets worse. You have these enemies that run around with these batons that have electricity on them, and they just come out of nowhere. And if they hit you, they will shock you, and the shocks in this game, it seems like they last forever. You will get shocked, you won't be able to be moved, you will be paralyzed, and you will just be instantly killed by all the other NPCs or players around in the Dark Zone. It is just way too much. The shocks in this game, they last way too long, and they are way too powerful. Speaking of being in the Dark Zone, this is supposed to be a looter-shooter type game. Well, didn't find any loot at all. As a matter of fact, once we made it to the Dark Zone, and you can max out your Dark Zone level in the beta at level 10, we made it to level 10 in the Dark Zone in about 20 minutes. We stayed in the Dark Zone for almost 2 hours straight. We killed different players, we went rogue, and we killed over 25 named enemies, and we actually got, I think, 4 different supply drops that came in, and there was 3 of us, by the way. And over 25 named enemies and 4 supply drops that came in, as well as killing other players going rogue, we had a total of 1 blue item that dropped between the 3 of us. The person I'm playing with, Lazarus, was the only person to get a blue item that dropped from any of the named bosses or from the supply drops. 1 blue gun in basically 2.5 hours of being in the Dark Zone, killing over 25 named enemies and getting 4 supply drops, I didn't even get a single blue item at all. Now, I don't know if the purple or the legendary items are in the beta, but I know for a fact the blue ones are, and in all that time, I didn't get a single blue drop. Neither did Homicide, but John got 1 blue drop. So 3 players staying in the Dark Zone for over 2 hours, killing over 25 named enemies, killing players, and getting multiple supply drops, get 1 blue item amongst the 3 of them combined? That's terrible for loot. In all, it was just a total unfun, boring experience to me. I play video games to have fun and, to be entertained. If I think that the game is not fun and it's boring and I'm not entertained, I'm not gonna play it. And that's basically how I feel about The Division 2. Of all the things I mentioned in this video, look, I know it's a beta, whatever you guys want to say about that, I can deal with 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 issues. Maybe a couple issues. I could deal with that and move on. Hopefully the developers fix things and blah, blah, blah. But the multitude of issues I had in this gameplay alone in about the 4.5 to 5.5 hours I played it was absolutely terrible. So many issues, from the constant disconnections, to the lag, to the frame rate drop, to the reloading of the guns not working, to the absolutely terrible audio, from everything just looking like the same as the Division 1 to me, to the clunky movement system, to the perks being so bad. Nothing about this game I enjoyed at all. So, for me, I thought that The Division 2 absolutely sucked, and I will not be buying this game. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go cancel my pre-order, and I'm going to go get my money back, and I'm going to put it towards Anthem, which comes out on February 22nd, because I did play that game, and that game is a lot of fun, and Anthem is a good game, and Anthem is going to be much better than Tom Clancy's The Division 2. So that is only my opinion though, so love it or hate it. But what I want you guys to do is I want you to leave a comment down below. Please do, if you played the Division 2 beta. And let me know, do you agree with some of the things I said? Do you disagree with some of the things I said? But most importantly, leave your mini review and let me know how you felt about the game. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? What things, did you like about it? What things did you hate about it? Will you be purchasing it? So on and so forth. I really, really would like to know from the community how you guys feel about the game as well. Or am I just tripping? So, leave a comment and let me know. Like I said in the beginning of this video, if you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up like button. If you didn't enjoy this video and you think that I'm just crazy, go ahead and hit that dislike button. And if you did enjoy the entertainment and you're looking forward to more, check out my other videos and make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. So anyway, YouTube, this is the Assist Man, and until next time, I am out.